Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Ammerman, and I would like to challenge you on how do you determine what is your calling, and then once you know what your calling is from God, how do you actually fulfill it? I wrote this book called The Integrated Leader, which is really telling the story of Nehemiah, how he had a very high calling on his life. Even though he was an immigrant in a foreign country in a very weak position, God used him in a great way to accomplish great things for the kingdom of God. Now, when someone asked me, what is the inspiration for this book? My answer was very simple. There were really two men who had a big impact in my life. Number one was my grandfather, Charles Benke. He was a pastor and just one of the most loving, faithful, godly people that I knew. He died many years ago, but I still remember to this day how I felt when I was with him. But the other inspiration for this was my father, who was a businessman, very successful businessman, worked his way up from a salesman to president of a major publishing company. And Dad and I had hundreds of conversations, literally about leadership and about calling on one's life. So my purpose in writing the book was to put those two together, the pastor and the businessman, to say you can do the same. You can find a calling on your life. As I found the calling, I wanted to share with you how you could find your calling and do the same. The title of the book is The Integrated Leader, and that comes from the root word integrate, which literally means how do you integrate all the parts of your person into the whole. The same Latin root word is also the root word for integer. What is an integer? It's a whole number. So how do you become a whole person? How do you know that you are integrating all the parts of your faith into the whole? So an integrated leader is someone who's integrated his faith into his family, his finances, his work, his church, in all areas. Everything, all the parts are integrated into the whole. And so the values integrate with the heart, integrate with his behavior, integrate with his life. Well, there's a Hebrew word which is shalom. Many of you have probably heard, if you know any Hebrew, that's probably the only Hebrew word you know. And the word shalom means wholeness, that integrated, a person who is integrated. He's got a complete personality, that his faith agrees with every part of his life. It means perfection and the peace and harmony of having that wholeness in one's life. Well, two people who are living in a relationship of shalom have an integrated kind of a relationship, is that all the parts agree with the whole. The person you see when they're with you is the same person when they're not with you. And so that is the real integration. That's what this is all about, is how do we integrate into every area of one's life. Next week, I'm going to share with you, what does an integrated leader look like?